Think you've seen it all? With Faceit Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive Faceit points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, Faceit.
Time again, yes, ESL Challenger League playoffs, baby, and we're back for the Asia Pacific region to eventually, of course, find our one team that will qualify for ESL Pro League. My name is Trav, alongside me is my good man Harvey, otherwise known as Scriv. How you doing, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm excited to get back into things, honestly. It's been a good while since I've been on the microphone and a good while since I've checked in with this region. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Glad to be here for the first day of playoffs. You know, we get to catch and follow all the action, which is always very, very nice.
Indeed. And, of course, we've got some very interesting teams involved in these playoffs as well. Teams that have done some great work internationally as well as regionally. And just plainly, again, in this particular league this season, of course, right? We've got the Huns versus NomadS, a Mongolian derby to kick us off in this B stream matchup. The A stream currently will be covering Rare Atom versus Chinggis Warriors, of course. Rare Atom have been a bit more up and down lately in the scene, so it'll be interesting to see how they do on that main broadcast. And of course, winner of that faces Tyloo. Winner of this, which we'll be watching today, will play Lin Vision. So those two heavyweights of the region are ready and waiting.
Yes, absolutely. I think should be very, very interesting to see, right? I think Tyloo have a lot to prove. They went out pretty quickly last time around. Lin Vision, meanwhile, kind of becoming a real force to be reckoned with domestically, for sure. Maybe struggling a bit more internationally, but yeah, when it comes to the domestic game, they look pretty damn good. But I'm looking forward to this one, to be honest. And, you know, this matchup has a lot of names that are going to be recognizable. There's a good number of players that I think have got that history behind them, especially on the Hun side of things, and a few names that, you know, keep your eyes on. The Mongols themselves are struggling. Maybe there's a spot for one of these guys to move in, but time going to tell on that, of course, and maybe a good playoff run here could help their case. This, of course, the bracket, we've touched on it ever so slightly. The teams that are in waiting and the teams that are down in that lower bracket also going to be good to keep an eye on, right? We're not covering them on the stream per se, but there might be a little sneaky name in there. THE, I think, looked pretty good in the regular season, so maybe they can pull their finger out in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, nice to see, of course, that THE team, right, having a few names on it from Korea, because like I feel like that has been such a long time since we've seen any talent really come through from South Korea and really make something happen. Because of course we had those old rosters that used to pop up in big IEM events back in the day, like MVP Project, for example. You had the legendary names like Solo and Glow and all those sort of players, right, that would pop up and do some damage occasionally. But yeah, so it's quite an interesting composition on that THE team. -72C, of course, as well. Have those sort of Eastern Russian players that don't really get any opportunities in the scene outside of these sort of tournaments, right? So important for those guys for sure. Here are our predictions for the overall winners of the season. Scriv went with Tyloo, so I thought to myself, all right then, I'll take Lin Vision instead, because we have to, go against each other to make it interesting. Both could definitely win. I really do think it's up for grabs. Most recent results have gone Lin Vision's way in that particular matchup, if these two are to make it through to the grand final. And of course, it's very important. So, like, making the grand final guarantees you Pro League. Only the winner gets Pro League.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. It is a little bit brutal in that sense. But look, I think, like you say, they have obviously had quite a lot of back and forth, these two, the Lin Vision and Tyloo and whatnot. So, yeah, I think it could shape for a pretty solid semi. I'm just trying to sort of grab the finals and everything to see how they place, because there was this first like LAN final that came in, and Tyloo had absolutely cleaned up the regular season, and then really, really worryingly just kind of dropped out of things, you know, which I think was not really ideal for them. But yeah, it's been sort of back and forth, and they've added in these newer players, right? They had Starry in, and unfortunately not quite worked out the way that they would have wanted on that Tyloo side of things. Everyone was really, really excited to see what he was going to do. So into this year, they've obviously changed things up, and is it going to work? Isn't it going to work? You know, the removal of Advent a while ago and whatnot. All very controversial moves, let's say, from Tyloo. So a really kind of curious team to watch. And of course, G took all the headlines this year, didn't he? So, you know, I think hopefully we'll see a bit more of, at least on the server, a bit more of his energy coming in.
Indeed, in these playoffs, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing that, right? I mean, I think the entire Counter-Strike scene became huge enjoyers of G purely because of, one, he was very good, two, because their team created some great upsets, and three, his incredible personality, right, which is just incredibly lovable. And yeah, I think that put Tyloo on the map for many, of course. And it's really glad as well to see that, you know, after all this trying and all these years without Tyloo actually making a major, they actually did get through in the end, right? It was a bit of a scrape. They did lose to Lin Vision in that game. Obviously, that China MRQ was a bit weird because we had that one team dropping out due to being banned pretty much, right? So that was Dog Evil, right? So yeah, pretty strange setup there. But they got through. They're going to get their stickers, and it's thoroughly deserved. I do think they are, over the course of the year, the two right teams made it, right? Like, it was always going to be Lin Vision and Tyloo for me. Even though Rare Atom have made the Shanghai Major, I think it's the turn of Tyloo and Lin Vision again. So I'm glad those are the two teams we got. But let's actually talk about the game in front of us right now. The Huns versus NomadS, of course. You rightly mentioned it. The Huns have got the name value here. NomadS are more of an unknown factor in the league this season. They've squeaked through in 6th place to make it through to these playoffs, of course. And, of course, with the Huns coming through in 3rd, actually putting a very, very good performance in over the regular season, getting one over Rare Atom and Chinggis Warriors to finish 3rd over those two teams. And they've got great names. Zeralt, Bartak, Nine. These are 3 players that have been kind of stalwarts of the Mongolian scene, but just haven't really been a part of that Mongols, which has obviously been the big talking point from the region recently.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, you know, these guys, a fair amount of them kind of paved that way. So yeah. I think it will be a very, very, I don't know, trying sort of time. I think as well they're becoming one of these sort of feeder teams, or at least trying to be, right? They've got a lot of young talent in here. And I think that is part of the remit for this squad. You know, it's like, right, if the Mongols ever need anybody, they might come to us, they might come knocking. They've got a lot of money. We can maybe overcharge a little bit for some of these players, right? So from like a business perspective, I think the Huns have solidly found themselves. But also from a team perspective, they do have some really, really solid pieces here, right? And I think that is quite scary. They seem to maybe suffer a little bit in the mental department. That also seems to be something that I think the Mongols themselves are struggling with, and they're the premier team of the country, so always something to keep on with. But look, the Huns coming 3rd in the regular season is no mean feat. I think that ahead of Rare Atom and teams like this, you know, very, very, very close to actually taking the spot away from Lin Vision or away from Tyloo towards the top end there. Just sort of looking down here, they did take a map off of Lin Vision. So, you know, I think the Huns are actually pretty formidable force, should be able to make a decent run here in the playoffs. And it's just kind of like, what do the NomadS have in store? As you've mentioned, as you've said, very, very unknown kind of team here coming into this season. The roster itself has only really been together since the start of this year, in fact, other than Hooligan, who's been in a little bit longer. So, you know, I think that shows how unpredictable these guys are and how surprising they are as a squad.
Absolutely. And I think for the Huns in general as well, right? Like, people probably know Zeralt quite well because of how much he's done in the scene in the last however many years. Like, played on that D13 team renewal for a little while, had a few chances in some Pro League qualifiers as well. NKT was a great roster at the time, and I think he was playing with like Gratisfaction and kind of a couple of other well-known names from the region at that point for a little while. I think I remember he played with Ben Tet as well, right? And Zine, I think it was, like another one of those Korean names that is well known. Obviously with Urkas as well before he moved on to coaching. So yeah, I think the big thing for me is that Zeralt's only 21. I think that kind of will surprise some people, and you can there's a few players in the scene that you kind of look at and you are surprised by their age because they've just been around for so long. I think a great example for me was when I was covering a bit of Medisport, right, in EU, Plopsky. Like, he's been around since 2017, 2018, when he played on those like Swedish mixed teams that would show up in DreamHack Open events. He's still only 22, and it feels like he's kind of past it, but he's just plainly not, right? He's a young player and very, very possible to do more in his career. Here's a reminder of our prize pool, by the way, in Asia Pacific. Of course, first place with that 15 grand, and most importantly, that ESL Pro League spot for season 22. It'll be very interesting to see if they're whoever takes that one, because it's another opportunity. One of the few opportunities as well, Scriv, in the VRS era for a team to show up in a big event from this region.
Yes, no, it is very true. It is very, very true indeed. I think that, there's maybe a few issues with the way that VRS is going down, but it does allow teams out in this region to have like a Valve-backed way of improving their ranking and their potential invites and whatnot, rather than having to rely on like ESL Pro League for most of the year, really, is kind of all they could potentially look at. And then events within their own region and whatnot, is a bit tougher to get to, especially something like a PGL or whatever. If they'd have come in without VRS, I don't know that we would have necessarily seen as many Asian teams making it into their tournaments, So yeah, I think that this kind of system does benefit this region quite nicely. And yeah, getting that top spot, it's very, very valuable, therefore, because you get the invite, you get obviously the prize money, which is always good in the back pocket, and it gives you a few more points towards some invitations.
Indeed, right? And I think there's so few opportunities like that this year. Like you very rightly pointed out, the PGL events, right? Like Astana had some qualifiers. Pretty incredibly, it was Hotu that made it through that qualifier, right? With like Cade, Duke Vizura, Mo, the major winning player, now coach, of course, of that team. And obviously that's 3 Kazakh players playing in a big Kazakh LAN, and there's a lot of players coming through in like these small LANs in that sort of region, of course, that are really I guess ones for the future, because we've seen Molodoy come through, we've seen Icy come through, we've got the likes of, I think, 2 players that I had a chance to catch last night, Dune, who's 17, and Fortuna as well, who's pretty talented. So it'll be fascinating to see how that progresses over the course of the year with this qualifier, of course, and future ones. But we're going to get underway in the playoffs, of course, for Asia Pacific. We are ready to play Ancient. That's the first match of the series coming in here, and already Yami is feeling confident, pushing straight through main and catching Hooligan to kick off the game.
Yes, thank you for your continued patience, of course, folks. Took us a bit of time to get in, waiting on a couple of issues getting everybody in. So here we are, and we will begin. Only 1 on A at the moment. Yami does have that first kill, but I think he now recognizes he's got to be careful. It's looking good, though. Fight's coming his way, and well, he's winning them out. The bomb does go down, but it has cost them everything. Just Hanks here to try and maybe win the 1v5. I mean, it's a clean headshot onto this donut player, but I think that they are giving him an awful lot of respect. They've got a kit, they've got a smoke. Surely no reason to overextend here. He will take one. He might take another with him, but surely traded. The Glock, however, it's deadly, isn't it? Always capable. They're straight on that bomb, though. Not planted for him, and he can't quite get around. So the Huns will indeed pick up that pistol.
Yeah, actually, 9 not even feeling the need to use his smoke there because of the positioning of the bomb, right? He could just go straight to the defuse and get it done. Hanks will try his best, bless him, but just the bomb not in the open for him. Actually had an opportunity because he missed the... Cobra missed the timing on him too, but bomb plant position was the issue. And the Huns will get off to a perfect start. Incidentally, you can see the veto top right there. This is the pick for the Nomads. We've got Inferno coming in for the Huns next. That's what, actually the map I've seen a lot of great work from the Huns on in recent times, especially in this league as well. I think they've been pretty solid on it, even though maybe when they played LAN, it's been a little bit more up and down. And Anubis as a decider, if necessary.
Let's charge through here. They will get that trade eventually, but Zerol was kind of prepared and ready for that one, wasn't he? Nice backflip comes in for that hero. AK looking good here, just Hooligan left on tech and cannot get his crosshair straight. So a much more aggressive round coming in from the Nomads. Huns looking pretty good, right? We're very early, but I think that they seem to know what their opponents like doing. You know, a very, very clear setup on the yeah, Zerol was so ready for that.
And, you know, realistically, if we're to really have a pure prediction for this game, this should be a Huns 2-0, right? Like, they have the name value, they have the form. I would be surprised if Nomads were able to get a win here, let alone a map, but they hit more shots like that, you never know. It's a beautiful 1D from Hanks. It picks up a M4 as well. And actually, Bartak will shift forward in toward Donut. That gives him a bit more time to work with. Hooligan with that picked up A1S will remove Cobra Zero, and suddenly this one is looking very, very difficult. Rotations are in, and Plant will come in. Nine looking to try and deny it, perhaps, but in that brokey position, Hooligan holds the line.
Yeah, that was the moment, wasn't it? It felt like Zeralt now going to be known about, so surely they're able to just hide away from him. Nice nade. Opens things up. Oh, careful with the nades out. He will just about survive it, but it's the Ferrari peak. There's no other way of explaining that. Hooligan will take it down. So Force Spike comes through for the Nomads. I think already, Trav, we're starting to see their DNA and what they're about. It is running at you. It is playing aggressive and unpredictable, as we sort of said, right? That's the name of the team, and it's sometimes what can happen. A little mixy squad gets stuck in the middle of all the other structured teams and everything, and they can just kind of rip your whole game plan apart. And we might see a few more rounds like that come off for the Nomads.
Yeah, I don't think the Huns, as I say, will be overly concerned about that, but it is an annoying round to lose, considering the fact it's still early game. Very aggressive lane control coming in here from Cobra Zero. Cloudon's actually in the smoke in Jaguar. But it's not been seen, obviously, realizing that they have taken lane behind him. Smoke will fade, and I don't think Cobra Zero is going to check the corner. That's a very nice opening for Cloudon, and then frustrating for Cobra. Now we've got this opening 5v4, of course, with plenty of money in the bank early game as well, of course, because they won that previous round on like a half buy. So bonus cash kept over. Game 4 still in play. Huns are playing catch-up here, economically and number-wise.
Has he been seen? Yes, he has. Nearly a trade in there, but they will actually manage to hold off too. It's worked beautifully. Another cheeky little setup here. The two-man cave looks good. So it's just Hanks. I mean, as far as 1v3s go, this is certainly one of the more doable ones, but before I even get the words out, Nines found the angle on him, so not what Nomads wanted. Huns immediately respond. They deny the bomb plant away as well. The econ is just all over the place now for the T side.
Really good at the setup, as you mentioned, right into a cave there. Like, Zeralt only gets that extra one, but again, just activates contacts to come through elsewhere. And they didn't know he was in that corner after the dualies ran away. I mean, what wasn't quiet about the retreat either. So I made it very hard to guess. 9 repositioning very well to finish off that previous round. And now Cobra Zero knows what's coming his way. It's another speedy play going through from the Nomads. And there is a 2 for 2 very quickly. Hanks with the Mach 10 will get one and survive. But 4 HP, this retake is still very doable for the Huns.
Yes, absolutely. Two of them able to get in at a good time. Yami moving through the cave, I think going to be the last man in. He's actually going towards ramp now, so really slows down the scaling of this retake, to be honest with you. Hooligan catches 2 out in the open, and of course, Yami's not in behind to get that trade. So the whole idea just left a little too late here, I think.
Yeah, he's going for exits in the end. Is Yami? I didn't take 2 with him, but I was going to say, I didn't think Hanks was far enough away from the bomb there. It's crazy, right? 4 HP, it was a long way away, but huge radius on Ancient, obviously. Good pace change up there for the Nomads, and I feel like they peaked on the right timings there, especially with Hooligan going for that swing. Like, he realized he had the opportunity to just settle down the round. Maybe needed to do so with a teammate very low HP. Huns will go for a immediate full force, actually, in response here. It's only one with 3 rifles, so chance for Nomads to really take control of the money here.
Five-7 spam. Not quite going to make it. I think both teams know, don't they? It's pretty tense at the moment. Nomad's playing a relaxed round, which is maybe a little out of character. They do have some mid presence that, oh, Yami's going to have to be careful of. Good for the first. It's a hard bait hit. I don't think even going to move around that corner. Only 26 HP. It's not enough, I think, to get a safe trade. Yami, however, could walk into the lion's den here if he's not careful. Bumping in the smoke. Oh my goodness, yeah, they know it. He knew something was up, but he didn't quite know where to find him. So it will eventually be the latest trade you've ever seen.
Now, these are the ones that are concerning, right? Teams which are the underdogs, sometimes that's the issue you can have. Struggling against the slightly more differing setups on the low investment rounds. Are they able to figure this one out? Randy, low HP, and all this information will very much be heard by the Huns. 2 players in Jaguar, hearing the rotation off toward A. He will manage to remove Bartak though, but here's that double peek towards Shelf that I was mentioning. Zerot will somehow manage to find Paranormal, but the HP is so low on everyone, and Clouden, being one of the healthy players, will decide to take point and take the kill. Good move to settle things down, and now in a 2v3, 9 may have a defuse kit, but it is being watched by Hooligan. And there we go. So we'll be looking for exit kills again to try and limit that economy. They only survived, of course, with 1 player alive in that previous round win. He's doing the right thing here. Randy will go down to the bomb if he doesn't push forward in this position. In fact, they all might. So, opportunity, gets the 1, and now the bomb shouldn't explode. So they will survive with 2 alive.
Yeah, still keeping things pretty costly, though. I think no real opportunity for the T side to build that money. Maybe this is the round to do so. Should be a full eco out from the Huns. But looking good. I think Nomad's competing back. Honestly, I thought, you know, they win the force buy, get returned on. It's like that's going to be a complete deflation of what they were trying to build off the back of that force buy. But they have certainly kept in this, and I think the Huns, it might not be as simple as first thought. This one is the pick of the Nomads. They do seem to have a pretty good idea of how they like to approach things at the very least. Again, it might be overly aggressive for the most part, but seems to be working for the time being.
Now then we'll get the opening again against this full eco, pretty much, other than a deagle. So they have got control of the game right now. That'll be a delight for them. They haven't lost that advantage, right, ever since winning that low investment round. They've kept control of it. They've made sure not to get caught too badly and kept the Huns honest. So there'll be nothing going here for the CT side. And if they survive with all 5 alive, that will be very nice, considering the previous rounds.
All right. Bartak fancied a new USP, I guess. Didn't really help him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, a little lucky there, really. Nomads, of course, getting very close to losing a couple of players. Also, worth noting, I'm very curious as to your thoughts. It's Nomads, but then it's like a capital S at the end. I don't know. What do you think that means?
I think that's just someone trying to be cool with the capitalization.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's one step down from putting like numbers.
I know.
Name, isn't it, really?
I just don't want to. I don't want to have to say NomadS, dude. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they're going to come to us after the series and let us know actually you've been pronouncing it.
Do you say the Mongols? I'm joking. I'm joking. Hooligans pushing forward in mid, and actually we'll get caught by 9. Good bit of mid-round aggression there. That's really good work from 9. To take a second as well, recover it into a 2v2. NomadS again, we're pretty aggressive in that position in mid. Getting a lot of duels early rounds. Zeralt really needs this one, but can't find it. All right. Now 9 has to do it all himself.
Yeah, that is really quite disastrous, to be honest with you. 9 pulled them back into this round. You know, the red room move did not go well for the Huns. Oh, no, and he's guessed completely incorrectly. So he will be at the firmest disadvantage. He might even just save because he's going to be on the other side of the map. If he commits even further in towards B, it's most definitely a save. But maybe at this kind of level, he might give it a look. I don't think so, though, to be honest. Wait a second. Are they just clearing? Oh, man, they are. Okay. I thought that the stars were going to align, but not the case. And now, as the bomb goes down, he gets even further into B, and yeah, it's got to be a save angle here from 9. So very unfortunate on 2 counts, his team letting him down ever so slightly, and of course, the wrong guess at the crossroads of middle.
Yeah, and no kit as well, obviously. If he had a kit, I think he would still save, actually, which is a shame, but there we are. AK can be recovered from the position, of course, that Zeralt should have got that 1 kill, and that's, like, it's crazy to feel like I'm pinning the entire round on that 1 kill, but that is the difference, right? It is the difference between a 1v2 and a 2v1 for the Huns, or the Huns. I'm joking, sorry.
I had to bring it up at some point. I knew when we were on the broadcast we could certainly take the mick out of the NomadS, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it is. Maybe it means, you know, they represent like one super elite nomad or something. I'm not quite sure. They've got a very cool logo.
I know, that's for sure.
There's maybe ever so slightly too much going on, but I think I quite like that, to be honest. The little flame thing above the main body of the logo is a nice touch. So they might win because they've got quite a good logo. I think the Huns logo, it's there's something going on, but you know, it's not too creative, in my opinion.
It's something. I think I don't mind it. I think it's like, you know, I like this sort of, the style feels Mongolian, if that makes any sense, right?
Sure.
So
yeah, no,
I actually like it for that sense. Hooligan, nice pick. Yami will go down. Bartak with the deagle behind the side. Could do something here. Bartak does have that ability, but utility is being used well here for the T side. There should be no risk of going down in this round anymore. There's again no kit in play. They'll know it's an eco. We'll probably gather there's no kit in play because of that. Hooligan will set himself up. We'll take down Bartak. Ooh. And they're getting kind of body blocking on Big Box a little bit, which was worrying me, giving 9 an opportunity. And actually, that's a stunning shot on Hooligan. Just a wide swing on low HP, getting away with it. But Hanks should have things under lock and key, and he absolutely will. Even a Molotov to absolutely categorically confirm it. No chance for 9. Ooh, but he's found the AWP, and he's trying to get away. Can he get away far enough to save the AWP? I think he can, you know. That is a bonus.
He's going to have to keep going is the problem. Oh, he can't really stop. Okay, maybe he can. Maybe he can. 9 just not missing right now. So, fair play. Needs a bit of help from his team. And then we might have a couple more rounds for the Huns. But, yeah, I mean, really nice round from him individually. They're no impact frags, though, you know? Maybe minuscule kind of amount that he does some damage. But the fact that the NomadS keep winning rounds, keep winning them on the T side as well, you know, it's really not a good look for the Huns. So, got to get this one in the bag, and I would say try not to let NomadS get any more than the 6 they already have, so it's a bit of a tall task.
push forward from Bartek. He's got teammate support, but right now things are just not going well, and maybe we are seeing why this is the pick of the Nomads. This is a really good performance thus far. Calculated aggression, I think, has been quite the name of the game at the moment. Zeralt is forced to go looking for something, will get caught, only with a 1-for-1. And Cobra Zero does answer back, but 2v3 might get some information. There's two players who try and deal with him, but that's a bit of a mistake from Henks. Holding the angle. Always get Pika's advantage for Cobra Zero, but that's a really good find from Paranormal. 9 now has to win a round again by himself.
Yeah, I mean, the Nomad's starting to run rings around the Huns. You know, there was a time where it was like just edging out the rounds, just little bits here or there. Economic downturns, of course, for a CT side, but Nomads have really started playing some, I wouldn't call them clean, but they are effective rounds. 9 thinking about it. He has a little look down short. There's no one there, so just going to move for the save once again. Yeah, this is rough, you know. Very, very rough indeed, I think. A couple players struggling, but it's not like ridiculous or anything like that. Considering that they are 4 rounds down, I think some of their kill counts are still okay. They just can't hold the sites, can't retake the sites.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's going to be 70% of the game at this level.
And this is Nomad's map, as I said, right? Like, if there's one map which I think they'd have a great chance on in the series, it is actually Ancient. The Huns are very up and down on Ancient, whereas Nomads, they love to pick into it. It's their most played. They've got the most reps by far compared to any other map in the pool for them. Played it in Challenger League, which we're watching right now, obviously. They played it in some MS and Nomadic qualifiers and the Hero 8 Esports Asian Championship qualifiers too. Actually, really impressive stuff from them. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. Another fast decision to go in toward B, but this number 9 and Zeralt will try and hold on to it, but Clouden knows he's got Zeralt pinned in the corner. 9 needs to worry about his left and won't manage to catch the kill on Cloud, and again we're recovering it, but Yami makes certain of a 2v1 and Paranormal escapes with only 7 HP.
He is off. He's looking to get that bomb plant on A, which I think even that's going to be tough. They seem to have read him. Yeah. Much better there, I think, reacting a lot faster. You can see so many bodies and dead players around the B bomb site, so I think that potentially Nomad's getting a little predictable. Now, bomb plant comes in, fair play. I didn't think he would get away with it. Bartek gave him a bit too much room. Can he now steal things away? The answer is no. So, Yami coming in with a round of his own. Good to see some individuals helping out 9, of course. Save that up. And it will be a 4th, I think, you know. The 5 rounds, certainly workable. 4 rounds is your bare minimum. But Nomads still have put up a very good half here. And it's got one more round that could potentially take it further.
Indeed, I think they'll be happy with 5, actually, considering how the half has gone, I think. Because they had a good start, but kind of been outplayed in most of the gun rounds thus far. A lot of saves being having to be taken. Yeah, and of course in ECL, they've actually played quite a lot of high-quality teams, of course, in the league as well. They played Linvision, they've played the likes of I think I've asked them twice, actually, just looking back on it. So, yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunity for something to work out here for them. Got plenty of recent LAN experience as well, as we've kind of touched on. So I really do think that's a big difference maker for a team like this to get that sort of... I wouldn't be surprised if they're still playing like on a boot camp together IRL, right? Considering they've only just finished that tournament, that qualifier. Probably will improve your feelings and improve your team play when you're in that sort of situation.
Yeah, that's what you hope for. I feel like if you are, you know, competing at the cutting edge and you're trying to be a top-level team within your own region, internationally, however it is, I think you've got to be, surely, you know, boot camping as much as possible. Like once every other month, you know, just to get it up, even if you're not necessarily playing the tournaments. I think that we do get a bit trapped in, because it's an online game, we don't all have to be together. But, you know, conventional sports, let's say, they practice in person every day. So, makes a big old difference. Let's see if they can hold on to this site once again. Looking good thus far. Paranormal back with a couple more. Nice farm from Zeralt, to be fair, considering how low he is, and to get another is really quite clean. That's going to be the 7-5. Certainly workable, certainly not the best from the Huns, but we've got a game on our hands here, folks, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to half number 2 between NomadS and the Huns. We're seeing some of that form from NomadS, which got them that main event spot at the Hero Esports Asian Champions League. Of course, that was on LAN in China, and getting that 3rd, 4th spot alongside the likes of Chinggis Warriors, Rare Atom, GG How. Currently, their form is great, and we're seeing why.
Yeah, for sure, and I think getting to put their best foot forward at the start of the series really could be a big deal here. The Huns have some room to work with. They can get back. Do believe that is a missed flash, but it's all good. And that's a team headshot. All right. Well, hold on. Is it all good? They've lost a couple of players here. The Julie's coming around the corner. We'll have one set traded out, but Clouden is still alive, so keep your eyes on that. Trying to get aggressive in, though, with a lack of information. Could be dangerous. Cobra nearly eliminates them all, but Randy a bit too quick with it. Secures the 3 and denies the round.
Yeah, he's had a pretty quiet game overall, right? And he's managed to pop up exactly when they need him most. 3 kills on the pistol. Great work. And that puts the Huns under pressure. No plant. I'm considering that will mean it's a full eco. But we are going to go for an AK. Clibrazera did have that money available. He had 29.50. He's going to spend it and drop their main man, 9, that AK. Buy up armor with it. So it's obviously a disconnected buy because of that. We've seen these sort of situations work before.
Oh. Okay, nade goes in a bit too deep. So there's the molly. So the boost is going to be successful here. Patience pays off in that sense. Clouden on the edge of a smoke here, looking to get that trade back for his team. Another boost coming in here, looking to be mega cheeky, and it's going to be successful once again. Really well played there. Bait shots from mid, drawing towards mid, and then they've got the boost above the smoke as well. You know, very, very clever stuff as the Huns will go up by 2 now.
This could be the round that changes the game for them. Would hurt that CT economy significantly. They're going to rotate all the way around back toward the outskirts of B here. Bomb is ready and waiting as well, like we've said. Zeralt in toward that K position with the MP9, that SMG up close. Paranormal needs to be very, very ready here. Of course, no armor. Zeralt, I would like to see him actually maybe show a bit more of a fake in that area, but now he just doesn't need to peek at all, because Paranormal's going to be distracted in toward the main area. He needs to push aggressively, and will get immediately traded by that 9 AK. It works out for a triple kill, and they've put a great thought process in for that round to make sure they don't get caught with the fact there's no armor in play.
Yeah, some really nice moves. I think, you know, you could certainly put them in the cheesy department, but it works for them, right? And they pull them out at the perfect time as well. Pistol was close, been annoying to lose it, but we need a steal back, as it were. And I think, yeah, that's certainly when you go for your wackier strats. Not really going to work for you in a rifle kind of thing, but yeah, when you're on that force buy, why not go for it? So really solid round, only an MP9 that gets saved. The econ obviously is going to be very sideways here for the Nomad side of things. So no option but to force with lesser weaponry, get that econ straightened out. Then you've got an eco after that, unless you manage to pull it out of the bag. So the Huns could even this up very, very swiftly.
Yeah, the fragile CT economy could really come into play here. But this is the round that matters. The Huns have put their best strat forward with that hero AK of 9, managing to isolate the positions of NomadS. And now, oh my goodness. Those counter nades were insane. The 3 MP9s all try and push down mid. All of them get caught to, well, sub 50 HP. Nearest makes no difference. That is insane.
Oh, Hooligan left in an awkward spot over here as well. Not looking too good. The Huns slowly but surely chipping away at their opponents. It's going to be a full gamble rotation coming in from NomadS, because why not? Could be dangerous here. They're a little on top of each other. Some of the damage done, yeah, is slightly worrying. Only 1 kill comes off, thankfully, for the Huns, and they know vaguely about Paranormal, where he's at, and what he might just be up to. There is, of course, a gun down now that could be retrieved, but round itself, surely not going to happen. Then we're on this eco, and it should be 8-8, you know, unless some sort of divine intervention comes into play. The Huns will have an even game.
Divine intervention, otherwise known as winning with USPs, which is usually what we need to see for something crazy like that to come through. Can't be lackadaisical in those sort of situations. Paranormal will move his way forward here. They're trying to lure the Huns back to the bomb, maybe, or at least go for a kill with the MP9. And actually, you know what? That's with the SMG. AK picked up. He will die here. There's no way out. Actually, maybe there is a way out. Doesn't push forward into the 3 players holding him. He was still 100 HP and still had Kevlar. I think that's the most important thing, right? Maybe without armor, he dies to the bomb there. But with Kevlar, he doesn't. And doesn't have to peek the last 3 remaining players. So, honestly, great play from Paranormal there to get some bonus cash and a significant upgrade.
General Smoke's coming out. Is there anything in store from the NomadS? It's actually a fully fledged default setup from them, really, so don't necessarily expect this to do all that well. They placed the AK on B. Not sure if that's where the action's going to be, but the first kill comes in towards A. So now, yeah, the AK left kind of panicking of like, right, where do I go? I need to find my presence in this round. But I think the bomb is going to end up on B, actually.
Well, Paranormal has got his one, but it's only one so far. Bartek has control of mid, will show some presence with the HE. And to be fair, for the Huns, they do have to be wary here, because the AK is in position, but they will get the plant safely. We do have Zeralt keeping an eye on that long position. The USP will try and swing wide and maybe bait in that AK. Randy's found one of his own, of course, as well. So it's definitely worth giving this one a bit of a glance, because they can buy next round anyway. I think for Paranormal, it's definitely worth saving, because he does have that Kevlar too. Hooligan can obviously push in and go looking for something. And there we go. So good decision. They'll keep the 2 AKs. That will get them full utility and kits in the next round, which is all important, obviously. But as you rightly said, Scriv, we do have 8-8.
Yeah, this is where things get a bit spicy then. NomadS, of course, started off with the pistol, have not won a round since then. Their lead has quickly dried up, and the Huns are very much in a position to take over this game. Really make the NomadS worry, right? You get very tense at this kind of stage, yet to win a rifle round, don't have the money in the bank, so maybe if you lose 1 or 2 players in the wrong spot, you're just immediately going to save. So I think that the Huns could certainly do this, and this is where, you know,
Asian Champions League that we've said. It's actually a big deal for them to really learn what they're about as a team. Brazil should get a free trade here. Clouden had no idea that he was creeping up so close. So trying to stick with lesser weaponry to save the money for the future, but Brazil will go down, and poor old Yami, he's stuck in the corner, no way out. Free AK upgrade. Suddenly 9 and Bartak are left 2v4, and Randy should find this one too. He stops the retreat of 9. They've got them locked in.
yeah, exactly what the doctor ordered. NomadS needed this. And not only do they have it, got it in pretty good fashion. Bartak's still looking to cause some problems. Take another gun away, it becomes costly, so that will make a difference moving forwards. Timing here, and he will lose the fight out. So just on the line of cost for the CT side, which can be big, but of course getting back their lead is even bigger.
Bartak had the bomb there. I would have given him an opportunity maybe to do something with that, but there was never going to be a case where he had been able to go back and pick that up with 2 players in mid holding shelf. So back in the lead, 9-8. Of course, reminder, winner plays Lin Vision tomorrow. So, tough game for whoever wins this one, of course. In the opening stages of this playoff bracket for ESL Challenger League in Asia Pacific. You are expecting it to be a Tyloo Lin Vision final. Maybe Rare Atom could cause an upset somewhere. Good catch from Hooligan.
Looking for another. Spam coming down. Could have been the chance there. Nade is good. They're really after this guy in the corner, I'll tell you that much for free. Oh, misses the shot, as it does on the other side. However, Paranormal with the overextension. Not sure how we feel about that one. There's also a kill that goes down in middle, right? So, yes, it can be tough, but maybe needed a bit of the wherewithal to be like, right, I can't engage here. I've got to be careful. Line goes down. It's a good read from Hooligan on where he's going to go next. So, in an instant, they're right back to where they started.
Hooligan's going to be ready. Zeralt's about to wipe PQ, and he's going to move his way off the angle at the worst possible time. Bomb is moving forward. Hooligan needs to be wary, needs to hold a line that's safe now because the ult's creeping up, and actually they've missed the timing in time. This is horrible. This is awful for Hooligan. He's looking back at the right time, but the shadow advantage will easily help as a ult with that one. It's a huge kill to take. HE will be put down, should do good damage, does chip down Cloud a little bit more. He is trying to fight. Well, that nade came through, he pushed in front of it rather than waited for it. But with the bomb down, now Henk spotted out, I would think the round would be safe, but it's not anymore. Henk's would be trying to fake the death cam for a split second there, but he's running. He's making so much noise. Zeralt should get this one, but he's jiggled it. 46 HP versus 42. Zeralt's going to get run down here, and that is a bit of a misplay from the Huns. That was their opportunity to even it back up at 9-all, and now NomadS, I feel like, are in the ascendancy.
Yeah, okay, that really should not have happened. I think it is kind of safe to say. It's definitely, I think, a tendency that we saw from them open Lisbon, right? And, you know, playing against some of the higher teams, they did have a few rounds. So maybe just take the eye off the ball. Maybe it's a bit too panicked. You kind of see it there in the 1 versus 1. Henk's playing it super confidently, running in, making loads of noise, let him know where I'm at, and just sort of baiting things out. Whereas on the other side of things, you know, shots were a bit nervous and a bit mistimed and things like this. So the Huns get in their own head in situations like that for sure. Maybe put a slight bit too much pressure on them. It's obviously a balancing act. It's very, very hard to get right. You know, I think it can be a bit tilting as a teammate to see the guy in the 1v1 just very lazily running through the round and then gets one tap, and it's like, well, obviously you lost that. But in this case, it did work. Just quick rush onto A-Trav, meanwhile, while we talk things over. Just the 1 kill back for the time being. Couple quick trades from Paranormal. That is also the bomb hitting the deck. He's left so insanely low, however. So again, you feel like this shouldn't be doable, but stranger things have indeed happened. Just a moment ago, this would be a killing blow, it feels like, to the Huns if they end up losing this one out. So Paranormal trying to thread the needle here and find the gap. Completely silent the whole way through. Just doesn't really know where to look. A-main is not a stretch in terms of where there's a player. But of course, this man towards CT area, not going to be expected. And as he was setting up, he gets taken down. So big one from the Huns. Really, really nice return from them. Great way to channel that frustration.
Yeah, really important rebuttal considering after that what happened in that previous round. Should have never lost that one. They should be in the lead 10-9 now. Bit more of a chance to recover at least to 10-all, as of course the buy will come through from NomadS. This is actually a big gamble. Goodness me. They had, what, 3k per player, I think? That's an easy 1 save and get everything you want in the next round, I feel. But they've gone for 5-7s and MP9s, a full purchase, and 9 will go aggressive in mid to take his opening pick. That's really big because that just relieves the pressure against what will likely be significant aggression. Zeralt will check the ramp properly, gets his 1-for-1, could die from behind, will die from behind, but now they know where 2 of the 3 are.
Yeah, A-bomb site, right for the taking. Not necessarily a super easy plant, but it should be pretty comfortable. Check a few angles, and indeed they will trim the fat from the rest of the NomadS. So just going to be a save move here from Cloud, and he's got an AK. It makes a lot of sense, but things looking increasingly better and better for the Huns. Once again, going to even things up. They are the better side, I think, on this second half, you know. So NomadS, what are they going to do in the next, man? This is really not looking good for them.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we're only a little double take, right? A little swing toward the mid-site pillar, and you're like, oh, he's not looking at me. Guess what? I can get some free money here. And takes the opportunity. Well figured out round there by the Huns. Good hunt as well. Bosh. The Karambit backstab is definitely the best animation in the game for a backstab, 100%.
Yeah. Beautiful. Listen, man, it wouldn't be an Asian Counter-Strike, well, game, BO3, without a knife kill in there somewhere. You know, they're always looking. They're always trying to sneak a little knife in there, so good that we got it in the first map. We might get a few more out of this series, for sure. Same round thus far. As you would expect against the Pistols. Spoke a bit too soon, though. Hooligan catches one nade in hand. Whether he gets to live here is another question. He will indeed be bested from behind. And it's just Mr. Randy on the mid-angle. Might be able to sneak one in here. A couple low HP players, get a clean dink. But again, it will be the Huns. It will be 11. So monumental now for the Nomads. Such a strong start for them, Trav, onto this map. You know, really, really looked good initially. And it seems to have fallen off. It seems to have fallen off in a pretty big way. We were looking down the barrel of a 7-3 in that first half. So could have made that 8, could have made that 9 in the ideal world. But this second half has been kind of the polar opposite.
I gotta say, if the Huns are actually able to grind this one out and get the W, it's actually very impressive because this is really not a good map for them regionally, right? They've lost to Hotu on it, they lost to God's Reign in the Blast TV Austin Major Quals, lost to Chinggis Warriors, they've lost to actually Chinggis Warriors more than once, I think 3 or 4 times. So yeah, it's not their strongest, and NomadS realized that it's their strongest and had a good like opposite map pick, you know, as you could maybe call it, their strength and the Huns' weakness. But looks like they're recovering really well on this T side here. No AWP available for NomadS in this buy to prevent the Huns from reaching map point. Of course, not a back-to-back BO1 anymore. Here's a BO3. So great opportunity to get one over the line and then go on to their strength of the Huns, which is, or one of them, which is Inferno. I've got Inferno, Anubis, and Dust 2, pretty much as 3 maps in the pool they're really solid on. We might have to see all 3, we'll see, but I would favour a 2-0 if they are able to get over the line here.
Yeah, I mean, this would be kind of devastating, really. Nice little dink coming in from Randy, though. Could make a big difference here. A lot of damage done there on that crack angle. I think, you know, with the spray control of an A1S, it's going to be a lot easier than with an AK. And you can kind of see that in full fruition. So, could be a big deal. Could be something that comes back to bite the Huns. Trying to just tap their way into this B-bomb site here. Nice little move from Paranormal. Does get traded out. Clouden nearly, but not quite. They are indeed pretty much all 1 bullet away from death. 1 leg shot even for 3 of them could be enough here. So they're most certainly going to go for this one. Keen find onto Yami. He goes down to a headshot, so slight overkill. An off angle from Zerolt does not work out. It's feeling pretty easy right now. Cobra confident, however, will take the head of the first. Tap onto the bomb. Trade's got to be there, and it isn't. And the HP bars make all of the difference. The Nomads will stay in proceedings. They will deny the potential of overtime, the potential of the win. And this map is most certainly on.
It's such a hard decision to have to make when you're all that low, right? I mean, Yami kind of dies for free there. That's a bit of a mistake. Like, that extra body could have meant all the difference. But, like, do you play on the front foot with, like, really aggressive crossfires? Or do you just hide because you're so low? Do you play as if you're full health when you're that health? It's a really tough decision to have to make. And in the end, NomadS actually dealt with it really nicely with all the positions that Huns were playing. And then once they got it to 1 player alive, managed to get 1 player on the defuse and 1 player to hold the line. In the end, it was Cobra Zero who had to try and take point, right? And he had 36. It's not like he was even 50. So, very difficult indeed. And we're back to 11 all in this opening game in the Asia Pacific playoffs. NomadS battling hard. Huns have got money. And will even have money if they go down in this round too. For at least 3 rifles, but they want to get it done themselves. They'll know that the money won't be amazing for NomadS. If they all get taken down here, only 1 player with residual cash. It's a bit of a swing round at 11 all when it comes to the money, which is pretty crazy for this stage of the game. 9 will take Clouden as well, and that could be a big step.
Yeah, Hooligan now tagged up. Hanks, not really worth talking about, but still takes some damage, you know. So I think it is NomadS getting a taste of their own medicine into this round for sure. And as you say, could be dire straits right here for that CT side. They've got to look to somebody to pull them back in. Barrel spotted, not ideal. I think that might just seal it in, you know. A bomb site is open, bomb's already on the way over there. So no real option for these two remaining B players other than to save. So 12 it is. Are we going to keep doing this back and forth round trading? Or will the Huns be able to finally clean things up?
This is an absolutely imperative save here. They're going to find a double AWP, which is actually pretty incredible. They're able to keep it. Could provide an extra factor to bring this game into overtime. Oh, Zeralt. You could find him. Gun barrel might stick out here. And it's a good reaction. They won't even be able to keep either AWP here. Zeralt was going to swing wide. Hanks as well. But they're going to be hunting. They know they've got all the money for the last round of regulation. Hanks, you've got to stay alive here. Oh, they'll allow it. They will allow it. Surprisingly, actually, will allow it at the end now. I expected one more wide swing, considering the money was fine going into that round 24. But at least they have something in the round, do NomadS. How do they activate this saved AWP? The Huns looking for all the marbles on map 1.
Yes, would be a deadly thing, and in such a fashion as well. The NomadS have played their hearts out. Very, very up and down kind of game from them. Some great moments and some more questionable ones. The Huns, kind of up until now, it feels like have constantly been on the back foot. Bit more control towards the tail end of this game. But Hooligans AWP opens up. That might be the difference maker. Nice little flash play as Yami takes one out in the donut. Hanks trying to fake things out, trying to draw this A main player in. Can't quite catch him. Shadow's spotted. Little ring around the rosy from both of them there. So it is still just the 4-on-4.
There was ever an opportunity to get this one over the line for the Huns. It would be now, not, as I said earlier, not a map they've been all that successful with domestically. NomadS, it's one of their favourites. Used it to great effect to qualify for that main event in Yangcheng at Hero Asia Champions League. Flash in toward Cave for the Huns. Not being quiet about their idea to take presence on this side of the map. The smokes are up. They look to try and get a plant down. Can they get a plant with a bit more health intact this time? That is the question. 9 will try and get that down. 4v4, looking a lot safer. And only one kit on the retake.
Nades are good. Keeping them at bay. And again, needing the speed, the pace for this retake. First head has rolled here. Zeralt will hear that gun being picked up. Comes round for 3 in total. It's going to be Hanks. He's known about. He's 2 HP. Surely not going to get it done. It's a lovely cleanup as Zeralt finds 4 all the way at the end. 13-11. It is heartbreak for the NomadS on their own map pick, but it will be the Huns, that favourite in this matchup, to take the first map.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought they would actually take this one 2-0, but I did have a little bit of a question mark about map 1. I thought it would be close. It was close. NomadS do love putting this map to the test, and I really thought they had it in the bag at one point, but a couple of really big individual rounds from the Huns got them over the line, and 28 kills in reg from Zeralt. 21, I believe, as well from 9. It is those two that we brought up, and they delivered again.
Yeah, looking very, very good indeed. And, you know, we're going to have to see moving forwards into that next map, you know, whether they're able to bring the same kind of heat. I think that applies to both teams, in fact. So, yeah, very, very curious here. And I don't know, a little bit worried for the NomadS if they can find the energy to bounce back, to be honest, Trev.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. The main issue with map 2, which is Inferno, of course, is that NomadS have got a pretty okay pool, right? But the Huns have played it 18 times in the last 3 months. Sure, not an amazing record, but they have played good teams on it. And they did pretty famously take Falcons to an overtime, right, in the Blast Open Lisbon. That's a really good result. Whereas NomadS they've only played it once in the last 3 months, and only once, and they lost it 13-3 to GG Hao 3 days ago in that LAN qualifier that I mentioned in China. So way more reps for the side of the Huns. We'll see if that will help them put their best foot forward after the break.
Think you've seen it all? With FACEIT Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive FACEIT points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back in map number 2 on your screen shortly. If everything goes to plan, it is myself, Scriv, and Trav. To continue on with this one, very, very close first map. If you did miss it, the Huns just narrowly get it 13-11. I mean, that is a bit unfair, I think, on the NomadS side. That's definitely how they will feel. They started off very well. They won a good handful of 4 spies, and they just could not get those important rounds, couldn't fully get their claws in, especially in that second half. The odd round here or there, but, you know, they needed 3 or 4 in a row to get themselves in a comfortable position. It just never happened.
Yeah, and the thing is with map 2 of Inferno, I did say right at the beginning of the series, I'm hoping that I'm personally going to predict a Huns win here because they've got the name value, they've got the talent really that I think. But you know, recent results kind of does take you back to thinking about NomadS a little bit more and think, okay, listen, they've qualified for that main event in Yangcheng, for that here Asia Champions League. A close qualifier on LAN, getting that 3rd, 4th spot, that last qualifying spot is quite a big deal. It shows, I think, a little bit more than maybe if it was an online result. And the Huns have obviously struggled a little bit on Ancient recently, and their Inferno, even though it's a map that they're very happy to go into, and we've seen quite a lot from them in recent times, they have the advantage when it comes to reps, of course, right? Their reps are really good. But when it comes to results, it's very up and down. I mean, they're losing it to like God's Reign and Chinggis Warriors, right? And the most important tournament and qualifier of the year. So even though NomadS have no reps on it whatsoever, only 1 game they played on it, and of course, and they kind of got destroyed by GG Hao, you kind of never know. And I think the main reason the Huns have picked into it is purely because it is one of those main weaknesses.
Yeah, no, I think that is very, very true. And again, it does feel like they recognize each other, they know each other, they probably scrim against each other an awful lot. I think in some of the earlier rounds where the NomadS went towards like their conventional responses and set rounds and things like that, it felt like the Huns were very, very ready for that. You know, you remember like the one round on the edge of the smoke and Zeralt was set up, you know, and they all went charging through. Seemed like a very kind of predictable round. So I think these guys know each other well enough that they know where to press buttons, they know how to abuse weaknesses and whatnot. So I think that we are going to see that sort of become the case, really. And yeah, it will be a very trying sort of map here for the NomadS. And again, all those things we talked about right at the tail end of the last map as well is all down to mental. How do they bounce back? This is where, you know, a Mixia team that's maybe, yes, good at the game, but sort of playing for fun, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I think that those are the types of areas that can let them down. We're immediately into Banana. It is kind of a bloodbath over there. Couple of kills going down. 1 towards mid, though, makes all the kind of difference. And now we have the Huns with the advantage.
We do indeed. Game audio is currently not running for me, which I believe is the same for you. So hopefully we'll get that back for you guys in a second or two. Zeralt with the openings with those 2 kills. Randy on the line can only tap down the 1. So it's a 3v1. Paranormal needs to find 3 kills. We've got audio back for you. Bomb is planted. Yami will take the frag. And the Huns with a very, very simple pistol. Just getting the opening kills in Banana, taking contact. Zeralt getting his 2. Cobra Zera will equal him. And the 2 on both equals 1 round to the Huns.
Yeah, not the way that the NomadS will have wanted to start it, I am sure. And you can see there's maybe some overspill, frustration and whatnot. They've gone straight in for the force here. They are starting to creep back in, but I don't know about the 4 MP9 builds that they're going for at the moment. Certainly a little different. Especially on Inferno, you usually see the force buys include a lot of utility to keep those Ts at bay and, you know, maybe play 4A kind of thing, but that's not really what we've got here.
Yeah, and forcing on a map like Inferno is not really like an awful decision, right? It's only close ranges to try and cause issues, and actually they give it a quick look with Cobra Zero on the Mac 10. He gives it a glance, gets flashed off, hops back behind the smoke again, will go for a second attempt, and actually I think it's going to work out a little bit better going into that way. Randy needs to somehow find another, and he's not going to get it. They were getting push from top mid as well, and actually they're going to realise that there's no point going back toward B. Hooligan's going to be here, going to grab an AK upgrade, but they figured out that the A bomb site is going to be clear. They rotated all 3 players over, and they should be much safer now.
Bomb goes down. And of course, with that pesky Voto smoke coming in, it really does change your mind ever so slightly on what you do. But in the case of the Nomads, it looks like they're still confident to go for it. So 3-on-2, only really one angle that they can come in from. All very readable here. And with the first going down, that should spell the save. But again, still kind of sticking around. Just about able to get it, but the trade is there. The trade is easy, so... I don't know. I mean, your econ in the next round is a little bit wrecked, but maybe you just try and do something a bit calmer with those guns, especially the AK that you save, but they decide to go in for it. So this, for me, is, you know, not good signs of where their headspace is at.
Yeah, I get you. I think they're just... as I say, I think one of the main points here that's very important to mention is, sure, like, everyone knows how to play Inferno, but at an extra level, Huns has got the experience of playing it against so many different types of teams, and against Falcons, that was one of the most important ones to mention, at Blast Lisbon. They took them to overtime, and sure, results overall not amazing, not as many Ws for sure, but NomadS just have no experience playing the map, really. In a professional setting anyway.
Hanks hidden away. Surely indeed gets checked. Nothing he's really doing from there, so pretty regularly scheduled programming at the moment. It is safe to say. I wouldn't call it a flying start necessarily, but the Huns are looking good, and you know, it does come in the back of your mind, doesn't it, really? Sometimes you look at a map and you're like, right, this is our bag, we should be good with this, and it can be on the opposite side of things as well, so I do feel it's one of the, again, problems with sort of some of the tier 2 Asian teams for sure.
Because one of the things we actually haven't really mentioned, maybe it's a point that's been kind of like beaten to the ground a little bit, maybe that's why we haven't mentioned it, but obviously, Bartak, Mzinio's brother, so he's going to want to emulate what the amazing work that he's been doing, of course, in the scene. Famously, that Mzinio kind of replaced Bartak, right? So it's be cool for him to perform to a level again, to maybe get into an event where Mongols will be at. For example, if the Huns manage to make a dream run happen, don't get me wrong, maybe a 10% chance, if that, and qualify for Pro League through ESL Challenger League. They'd have to beat the likes of Linvision or Tyloo to get it done. But, you know, there's a chance that he could play against his younger brother again.
Flash into Banana, try and get some control back. I think they will be somewhat prepared. Nice timed peek from Hooligan. Molotov down again, of course, confident to go into the swing. We'll try and deal with him, don't quite have the direct utility required. Big player, long player. They're a little disjointed here on the CT side of things. Could make a big difference. Got to get this long guy, and they will. 9. Lovely stuff on the trades there. So into the 2 versus 2, healthier 2 versus 2 for the Huns. And a big round win required from NomadS. So there's a lot on the line here.
So difficult, though. Even with the kit on Hanks, the biggest problem here is that Randy may have the smoke for Hanks to jump on a defuse if they even get that far, but he's only 1 bullet from death. Like, how possible is it, really? Ideally, you actually want him to die first and then pick up the kit later. Now it's actually a chance for Randy to do that, but the crossfire is just too good, right? It's one of those weird scenarios where you actually need your kit player to die to have more of a chance, it feels like, right? Because your low HP player is never going to hold the defuse, with being only 1 bullet from death. He's never going to entry his way in. Kind of purely just needs to sacrifice himself to drop that defuse kit. Can't drop defuse kits, of course. One of the few things you can't in CS, so not possible for them to do much on that retake. Decent hold from the Huns, and they're rewarded with another bit of control of the economy too, because NomadS have gone for a bit of an aggressive half buy here. MP9 full buy on 2 players and not really much on the rest, so they kind of split up economically here.
Ooh, gotta be careful here on the edge of the smoke. That goes for both sides, to be fair. I thought there was going to be a big old push through on a reload, something like that. Not the case. And the Huns looking cool as ever. So get that bomb down should be nice and easy from here on in. Will be a 5-7 kill, so maybe... Okay, not just 1, but 2 guns to retrieve. That's a small oversight towards the bottom end of middle. I don't think that Hooligan's AK is really going to look to go for this. But it has cost the Huns ever so slightly, you know, stops them ballooning away as they had potential to do in this round.
Yeah, it's always risky, right? The MP9 getting aggressive to a bottom banana can always do something very scary, and we saw them just waiting in actually pretty good positions, right? Even that little crouched area on the logs, that's the last area you pre-fire and get a double headshot, right? You can maybe get double headshot with an MP9 running down banana if you're playing a more normal angle and given no chance whatsoever, but the Huns are going about this one very, very comfortably indeed, playing them off each other perfectly. Spacing is good. 9 hasn't died yet. It's all coming up Millhouse, as they say.
Yes, it is indeed. All the good omens for the Huns are most certainly here. You know, 9 leading the pack, I think, is always a fantastic sign for this team. Such an influential player and roles that he carries out within this team. So there you go. Nice little touchdown nade to kick things off. It's not looking good, is it, Trav? I don't think the NomadS really have the opportunity to buy around here, and yeah, these beginnings are really, really tough on them. I feel like they are constantly losing out on wherever they try and get aggressive.
Yeah, it's just that's just the difference, right, between a team that's played it a lot, win or lose, and a team that hasn't played it a lot, win or lose. Like, just to give you an example, the only time NomadS have played Inferno in the last 3 months was against GG How. It actually goes back further than that. If you go 12 months, it's still only 1, right? And they lost 13-3 to GG How. It was only 3 days ago on that LAN qualifier in China I've mentioned, but they got schooled by Boris and Issa and co. So I might tell you the tale.
They're an alright team. I would go as far to say big damage coming in here. 2 kills there on the M4.
Ooh.
So, you know, we
go.
talked them down a little bit into this round, but they do still have their moments, of course. And it will be number 1 in the win column for NomadS.
Good work from Paranormal. Had the opportunity to jiggle that van position, play a little gap on the left as well. It was 2 incredible headshots from Zeralt, it has to be said, but he was always fighting his way into a brick wall. So a good way to get their first round on the board. Some good individual performances there. Enough to give you some confidence. But it can't be a flash in the pan. Repeating it is the most difficult thing. So only 1 round for that well-played situation.
A little bit of a check here from the Huns for sure, as they play the wider default. Still trying to look for the early aggression. I think it's actually more NomadS that are like, right, let's play safe. We've got our round on the board. Maybe we can net a few more with a change-up. I do find it quite funny, Paranormal in the same position as last round that he got that double spray down from, so he obviously quite likes that spot. Maybe rightfully so. But a much slower round here, you know, really no action from NomadS in particular.
Actually, of course, as well, like, Huns aren't incredibly well off, like we've kind of said. So 3K on Zeralt is the only real player that can probably buy properly in the next round. And Hooligan, that's a great peak timing. 30 seconds, you're re-aggressing then. That is very rarely to be expected. And Bartek will get run down by Paranormal. Again, good aggressive move there. Choosing the right time to go about it. But maybe Clouden didn't need to do that. Site player now, Hooligan, should get caught. That AWP is so stuck. But he still found one more. I can't believe it. Should go down, does go down. 2v2 after plant.
Yeah, Hooligan might just have given them the olive branch that they need to stay in this. Coming in from two different angles, though, could be very dangerous indeed. Randy just hiding out inside the smoke. Not a bad move for a 2 versus 2. You know, try and get the catch off. They've heard him, though. He jumped a bit early, maybe. They know the last player's in towards short as well. They damage is decent, but it's not going to save the day. And he swaps across onto the pistol. Never going to be enough against the AK. And so the Huns get right back on the board, of course. Really dangerous look now that the NomadS could not string them together. And with that switch up, and of course the initial advantage, you know, the round looked pretty damn good for them.
Yeah, I genuinely do think... Okay, I do think Huns could have won the round even without Clouden making that move and giving up his life, but it didn't help them, right? I really didn't think it helped NomadS at all. Pushing through that library smoke when they had the advantage, don't think it was necessary. It made the... Maybe he felt the need to push through it to help Hooligan, because then in the end we saw what happened to him, stuck on the site with the AWP like that, right? So I guess maybe that's the thought process. But either way, the Huns find the answers. Good catch from Cabrera again. He's been... the Huns have been excellent with that pre-fire on toward Coffin. It's pretty easy. It looks pretty easy when you pull it off. And there's been not much success in that position whatsoever. They'll try and retake it with the MP9 here. But it's a 4v3. Kevin wants to go through that cloud of smoke. But Randy has been found. And there should be no worries now. There's a banana flank, but Zeralt will take up that particular responsibility. And Clouden does get his one. But it's only one.
Yeah, little chips. They're not going to be bothered, really. I mean, the money's not perfect, actually, from the Huns side of things. It is worth noting, but the rounds are just looking really damn nice. It's actually quite a nice pattern, I have to say, the Damascus steel on the stiletto. I don't usually rate a stiletto, but that one doesn't look too bad.
No, I know. Yeah, that's the only knife I've ever unboxed, you know. I've got a stiletto fade back in like 2018, and I traded it in to get my favourite loadout that I've kept ever since.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Listen, of all the, I could have got like a gut knife Rusco or something as my best ever knife. Like, I'd rather have one, like unbox one stiletto fade than unbox 6 gut knife Rusco. So, you know, I'll take it.
It's maybe my one Counter-Strike claim to fame. I unboxed a minimal wear pair of Spearmint Moto gloves.
Oh yeah, you told me about this, haven't you? Yeah.
It's very sad because, you know, whenever the conversation of skins comes up, you know, with my friends or whatever, we'll maybe give it a little check. And I sold it for about 1,700 quid, which is still a lot of money. I was only like 19. Yeah. But now they're worth like 6 grand or something. I know. So,
yeah. You know. I remember when I was looking to buy some, because that's my loadout now, I could only afford field tested, like, because minimal wear was so ridiculous. I've had that loadout for, like, since 2018 now at this point. And talking about loadouts, well, the Huns have a great loadout on the server right now. 5 players who know what they're doing, playing off each other really well, and they're taking liberties. Look, they feel confident enough to push through CT smokes, knowing they're in a 5 versus 1, and it's going to be 8-1 in a matter of moments. Paranormal 1v5, baby. I believe. He's got a kit, he's got a smoke, he's got a molly. But he's also got 2 players in CT. And it ain't happening.
Such a wild difference in maps. I think, you know, you've kind of been predicting it the whole way through, and now it is coming true, but you'd expect a bit more out from the NomadS and hope that they could bring that same kind of get up and go that they had on Ancient. It is tough. As has been said, they don't play this map so much, and then Ancient is a very different beast. You can play that aggressive style and run through those smokes and be unpredictable. Inferno, not so much, you know, very tight choke points. It makes your style of play really repetitive, and I think that eventually they're going to be able to get a read on you. Nice find from Hooligan there, I have to say, to keep the advantage. Randy just now figuring out that fire is hot in this game. That's kind of what that looked like, to be honest. But nonetheless, NomadS with a man advantage.
Something to work with. Can they convert a second? It's an absolutely non-negotiable round to win here. Paranormal with the MP9. The Huns trying to take some control around the map that they have not been able to glean just yet, of course, but Paranormal is in position to at least hear what's going on. Doesn't have to commit, and he's got two teammates around the A-bomb site, which are very much going to be in a good position. Randy cannot afford to die top banana. He's the only one B. Sure, you've got a quick rotation with where Paranormal is, but it's only the MP9. Randy has to keep himself alive, use his utility accurately, and he's going to do that. But it does look like the Huns are going to pick B, and it is a 3v1 on that side of the map, as I've been saying. Randy's got to get one and stay alive, somehow.
Not able to do it. It's a lovely little angle. Oh, he just nicks away that second. I think that will give them the power that they need. Nice break of the smoke, but it cost Bartak way too much of his HP there. And of course, no real time with that player distracting him in the smoke. So NomadS move up to 2. It's still not really anything to be impressed with. Still, for me, need 2 more. But it could be a step in the right direction.
It could indeed. I mean, Randy's done amazing work there. Like, getting 1 is probably all you expect from that position. Sometimes you don't even get 1 at all. It's an angle that can be pre-aimed pretty confidently if you do check the site properly, but he got 2, and that's incredible. Gave no chance for Bartak. Did die after time, but no money issues. Had 4.5k in the bank. Brazil will rush his way up, and he's seen Clouden already. Goodness gracious me, that's a check and a half with the Mac-10. Now Paranormal is so stuck. Oh, he's the only one here. It's so awkward. There's a library peek down. They haven't smoked it off. There are 2 players here. Hang on a moment, they can just battle for this one. But Bartak's in a good position. He gets another kill. Somehow, it's a 3v2 after all this. What on earth is going on? We're pushing through smokes. We're spamming smokes. All right, let's calm down. It's a 3v1.
Oh. Just about able to get out of it, somehow untouched. Kind of
just
hilariously.
Bomb back.
Oh my goodness, so the wildest spray as well you've ever seen. Straight back up to 9. Listen, man, at the end of the day, when it comes to wins and losses, which is what we're all about, NomadS having 2 rounds is really not that much different than having 0. You know, like the impact of what they're going to be able to do with those 2 rounds is very, very, very small. So I do feel that the Huns are still in control, still in position to just clean up this series and grab the 2-0.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? Wild round there with the Huns barely using any utility at all to block off those quick rotations and was catching them off guard, the bomb being lost. But there we go. Tons of HEs will litter Banana. Banana is now very much mouldy. Take those brown bits off of it. Don't want to eat those anymore. That's a good opening kill on Cobra Zera, and immediately it's forced them around to take the opponent's position, but Hanks has somehow got away with 1 and damage in Mexico there. I really thought he would have gone down, but not to be. Bomb now needs to be picked up. Not going to happen. 9 has been spotted in Boiler. Needs to somehow find a flick in response, and it has. And actually, Yami has gone through in that position as well. Recovered it into a 2v2. Randy does not want to let 9 get away, but now it's really awkward. They might both be there, but all that kerfuffle has allowed Yami to escape and get a plant on B.
Imagine he gets a kill from there as well. Imagine he gets a kill. That would have really, really messed things up. I think it's safe to say. Interesting kind of smoke. Not quite sure what the aim is. You kind of give them cover for the bomb, really. But then they don't quite know where the bomb is. Paranormal going to go for it, going to try and get the hold. Yami, nowhere near. Nowhere near. And unfortunately, after all that, it will be the NomadS to take it. So 9-3. Is it enough?
Probably not, but perhaps there is something in there that could turn this one around. We're going to find out, of course, after the break.
The Huns in control, 9-3, in a very good position to take this one 2-0 and get through to that next round of the ESL Challenger League Season 49 playoffs for Asia Pacific, all battling for opportunity to play in the next season of ESL Pro League. Lin Vision are ready and waiting, and of course will be the favourites for whoever they face, but the Huns want that opportunity. And on CT side now, Inferno, they will look to try and close it out.
Oh my goodness, okay. Quick headshot to open things up. It's the Julies that might go unchecked. He's trying to come away with as much as he possibly can. Maybe just bit off a bit too much. Let them pass, but one spotted him eventually, and that kind of messed with his entire plans. Nine gonna... I mean, all you could see was his head there. So, very clean pistol here from the NomadS, it has to be said. But there's obviously more required, so we keep that realism element to this one. Flank coming in, no way Yami will survive this situation. He's got to fight his way out, and he cannot do so. So, nice find from the NomadS. We'll see how the Huns respond. They've got plenty of rounds. Are they going to force? Are they going to eco and try and get the M4s as early as? All very big questions here, of course.
You know, like, there's so many players in the Counter-Strike scene. There's, you know, not a huge amount of overlap when it comes to, like, aliases. Obviously, there's some, but maybe not as many as you'd think. Some of the names on NomadS, I love them, right? Like, I don't know anyone else called Paranormal, Randy, and Hooligan. Like, Randy Hooligan does go pretty crazy, I think.
No, it's true. It is true. I mean, you know, some of the Asian CS names are just like that. But I think, yeah, Randy. Well, Randy is like a name as well as a meaning.
It is a name,
you know?
yeah.
It is a bit of a funky word in English, actually.
It is.
But yeah, Hooligan's pretty good. I like Hooligan as a name.
Yeah.
To be honest, I do
it's
dig
like
that.
it is more of a word that maybe you wouldn't expect to be used as an alias, right? And then when you see it as an alias, you're like, oh, that actually works, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, and listen, man, so long as it's not got 12 numbers and 15 words, like when it's like 4 words in a row, it's like, man, for God's sake, I just want to be able to get it out, get it off my tongue nice and quick.
There are some that ruin me. Ascential from Bait is one that's like too much lisping, bro. Like I just can't do it quickly sometimes.
All right, let's see then. They've gone for the early buy on that Huns side of things, and so far not so good.
Wow.
Zeralt as well going to get caught by the speed, and this is a bit more what the NomadS are about. So I'd probably look at like a save situation here, to be honest.
Yeah, it has to be immediately a call, I would say. Still fighting for it, which is surprising me greatly. They don't even have a kit, right? So they're just trying to keep the economy of NomadS a little bit more honest, but I'm not sure I love that call. I would rather prioritize your rifles. They will finally do so now. They've managed to find 2 kills off the back of all that, so fair enough. It's the maximum they probably would have been hoping for, to get 2 and then fall away. But yeah, that was all down to Clouden, right? Just having the opportunity to push with the MAC-10. His teammates chained all the flashes. The first kill was an immediate rundown after all the nade damage. The double nades coming through toward the full position and just past the half wall, doing so much damage. And the MAC-10 took advantage of it, and then they chained the flash. Here we go. That's that second kill. We just see the last little few glimpses of there. So blind. No way out when the MAC-10 is holding W.
Yeah, can be a bit frustrating. But this does seem to be the NomadS MO. And they're not bad at it. They are not bad at it at all. So, gap closing, but still room for the Huns. Still room indeed. We shall see if they have anything different prepared. It is a 3B here, I suppose, which different from the previous round, but it's already been done in the half. They did it in the pistol, if you remember. Nearly worked out for them, so there is certainly precedent for a round like this. A lot rarer these days on Inferno, it feels like, but who knows? A wider banana may well change that up, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that really pains me about it is the fact the incendiaries are still the way they are, right? I mean, they're the tiniest little grenades for such a wide portion of the map, which just allows the T side to have so much room for maneuver. It's going to be an awkward round, though, because 9 may have got the opening kill, but they are getting run over on the site itself, and they're not expecting to be in that position so quickly. There we go, look. It's absolutely wild scenes around the A-bomb site. We've got swings on random timings, duels coming in from long and from short at the same time, and somehow it's only Randy left. 9 alive on 3 HP, Zeralt on 31. They should know Randy is stuck on the site. There's a team kill in the mix as well. It's getting messy, and somehow Cobra Zera only just gets the kill. All right then.
Yeah, I think that's a fair reaction. There's not really any words to describe that one, if I'm honest. Yeah, so you just kind of have to let it happen. You know what I mean, Trav? You just let the round happen, and whatever. If it's going to go messy like that, it's going to go messy, but yeah, goodness me.
I don't know how the team kill happened. I'm just looking at the map right now. How did Zeralt do that to not... I really don't know.
Not even, like, necessarily in the... Unless he was stood in the way of the spray, but it does feel like, you know, team kill came after the guy was dead anyway, you know.
Kind of
strange. Yeah, maybe sometimes, listen, sometimes you're so locked in on just shooting things, you end up shooting your own team, you know, you forget what team you're on. You've just been playing like the bot game, you know, just shooting.
Yeah.
So it can happen once in a while, especially in those sort of crazier rounds. Feels like a bit of a tighter one as well, doesn't it? Like one that you absolutely have to win to make sure that there's no potential of a comeback. So on and so on.
Yeah, it's that was pretty crazy. But actually quite an important round for the Huns to take, right? That was their first round on CT after all. But that, well, this one's fallen apart pretty quickly. Kill feed littered with blue in one tick of the round. 3 kills come flying in. Hooligan tries to get control of the site at least, but he won't be able to get past Bartak, the pit player. And Paranormal is left wondering what on earth is going on. I'm all alone, and Zeralt, even though he's managed to hear him, push his way down Banana, he'll still be able to get the kill, will Zeralt, either way. Even shoot some utility over to a teammate to make sure they collect everything. No expenses spared. 11-6.
Right, most certainly back in the saddle now for the Huns. I think they really messed up dropping a couple of rounds, but ultimately they're able to prepare themselves, you know, for these super fast rounds coming their way. Excuse me. But all the same, looking very, very good here, and I think they've got plenty of room to now work with.
I have indeed. 2-0, but 2 rounds away. Yami in position, playing with the smoke. Very awkward. They're actually going to run past him. Oh my goodness, he's got an insane play. Could be multiple, could be many. Oh, it could have been a full 4. It's only 3, but it was so mad that there was even some team damage in play there as well. That is an incredible play. Not seen that sort of position and reaction for a very long time in that sort of tight area in apps.
Slow creep up here for Hooligan. He's maybe their last chance. It seems like a quick rotation to be. Not sure how we'd feel about this one. And well,
ooh,
big find coming in from Hooligan. And it'll draw some rotation back, but it's just the one player, so on. I'm not really sure of what to expect. Hooligan will be traded out, however, and Randy, you don't really see him getting much done. Only 25 HP. You needed the big man on the lurk to really do most of the heavy lifting. I think a bomb plant potentially here. Nah, it's going to be a checkup from 9. Again, trying to do a bit more with a bit less, and unfortunately Randy doesn't even get that plant.
Yami won that round though for them eventually. Sure, it got down to a 2v2. They tried to, getting that one extra kill actually from Randy in toward Mexico. That did allow the thought process, right, for the Huns that they could be going back toward B. That's why it split up the rotation and actually gave NomadS a chance at entry back in toward A. But in the end, Yami with a great play in that position was pretty crazy. Just, you could feel it coming, couldn't you? Incredible kills, and actually a fast banana play coming through, and Zeralt, it could be his turn. Oh, it's a big lineup. There's 2 for him. Cobra Zero will get his as well. Low HP on Paranormal. They could just go in for this one. Why not? They know what's going on. They can hear it all. Hooligan will eventually take down Zeralt, but Cobra Zero is waiting behind the smoke with the USP. You never expect him here. It actually is a 1-for-1 in the end because Yami is in position to help out. But this one, it's got not many legs left in it, and Paranormal might only have one of those legs left. 11 HP. 1 bullet. He's tickleable. That's not a word, but you know what I mean, and he knows it's pretty much game over.
Hiding in the corner, just saying a few prayers, and we know there is something lurking beneath the water, I was going to say, but there's actually a random nade out of nowhere. And it will be the Huns to take things nice and clean there on that second map. First one, to be fair to NomadS, was a lot of work for the Huns, and there's maybe, 1 or 2 rounds go their way. We could be looking at a 3rd map right now, but that is not the case. And then you have that double whammy of a map that they're super uncomfortable on, and that 13-11 loss to contend with, and only a 15-minute break in between. It is a lot to ask for the best of them. There is still time, there is still life, of course, for the NomadS. A good regular season means that they will be in that lower bracket, and we will see them play tomorrow. So certainly not over for them, but the Huns stay alive in the top bracket. They now move forwards and have to face off against Lin Vision. Not going to be an easy game at all, but potentially a team that are capable of giving Lin Vision a tough time. I, for one, am very excited to see how that matchup goes down.
Yeah, I think it's only my second time catching NomadS, and you know what? I'm not unhappy with what I saw. Like, they were the underdogs coming into the day, despite how good their results have been, of course, as I mentioned in that close qualifier that was being played on LAN in China. I think they showed why they are pretty dangerous on Ancient, but yeah, Inferno did feel like it was always going to go the Huns' way, just purely due to the fact they had so many reps on the map, whether they win or lose. They just have so much more experience in general, and yeah, I think that experience in general is more... It's always very valuable in a game like this too, when it's a game in a playoff setting, right? So LinVision are waiting tomorrow for the Huns. I believe that's a game we're both going to be on tomorrow as well, in that upper bracket matchup. And of course, just to let you know what else is going on around the scene right now, if you want to keep yourself an eye on the rest of ESL Challenger League Season 49 Asia Pacific, there is a game going on the main broadcast right now. That's Rare Atom versus Chinggis Warriors. As you can see on our bracket graphic, that's actually gone to a third map decider over there. Rare Atom won Inferno 13-4, but lost Ancient 13-11. So there's a game on our hands over on the main broadcast. So if you want to keep watching this particular region, you know where to go.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the bottom side of things, we did have a forfeit, unfortunately, so 72C will be moving forwards in the lower bracket side of things, and the other game's still ongoing. Fengda winning the first in overtime, second map looking likely that they may well win as well. So, you know, looking pretty good over there for Fengda. A lot of different games going on, a lot of different teams, but yeah, a really, really kind of impressive showing from the Huns, and I think that they are one of these outliers, right? Once you get to Rare Atom and maybe below, you could potentially put the Chinggis Warriors in there. It does seem like there is quite a large drop-off, but there's potential, you know? The Huns might get overlooked. They might hit a really good run of form going into the LinVision game tomorrow, and they could pull off a little bit of an upset, Trav.
They could indeed, and of course there is an opening there now for a couple of these teams, right? Because of Atox being naughty boys, right? Apparently, so yeah, there's definitely an opportunity in that sort of tier 2 level for some of these teams. So let's see what Huns have against LinVision tomorrow. But as I said, make sure to keep in touch with the league by hopping over to the main broadcast right now. Remove the B from the top of your screen, top of your URL, and check in with Rare Atom. But for now, we're done. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you then.
Think you've seen it all? With FACEIT Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive FACEIT points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, FACEIT.